Hey everybody, Dan Northern Comfort, doing an unboxing video here today. I've been kind of saving up this winter for the last kind of, call them the big components for the boat, one of them being Autopilot. And today I'm going to just be unboxing this, I got too many things here in the way. I'm going to be unboxing this Raymarine EV100 Autopilot system. So first off, I just want to say thanks to Rick. Rick's been following my channel for I don't know how many years, but a long time. And he said that he's been following, and he heard me saying that I've been looking for one. He sold his boat last year, and he never installed this one in it. So it's a used system, but he actually has the he never installed it, so I'm going to say it's in excellent condition. I hope all the parts are there, but I think they are. But this is one of the projects that I wanted to get done before I go cruising, because as a solar sailor, it's difficult to cruise. Like in the manner of 30 seconds, the boat could be in a different direction when you leave the helm. And so I kind of use bungee cords and ropes, and I tie it to the wheel on the helm. But what happens is that the wind shifts slightly, and then the boat is veering off course, so it's not a good situation. I have a couple of times where I rose the spinnaker, or I hoisted the spinnaker, and I'm by myself, right? And you've got kind of like two sheets on it, and I'm hand bombing it, and then I needed to adjust something. The boat veered off, and then of course the spinnaker is a huge sail, right? And it goes right over, and it's like, okay, the boat is turning, to port. The sail is going to starboard. The boat is about to, just get heeled over. Like, oh no! So it's like, quick, cut, let go, get the course on the boat back on course. So yeah, it's just it's a challenge being a solo sailor with a big head sail like that. So what the Autopilot is going to allow me to do is part of the Autopilot kit includes a kind of like hold course button. Which at a very basic level will be, okay, just enable the Autopilot and then, hold my course. And you can hold to wind, or you could hold to compass. So that's kind of like the number one thing that I want this for. So I can kind of say, oh my God, I just want to make a quick tea. I've got nothing in front of me for like 10 minutes. Just quick pop down, put the hot water on, boil a tea, get back up to the helm and keep an eye on things. So I can't do that. And then bought this boat with very little. Had no working engine, no instruments, and I gutted it. I pulled the engine out, and then I decided to go electric. So I put an electric motor in, and had a whole learning curve about that. So I learned about batteries and charging systems and wiring and house banks, all the different solar panel and monitoring systems. And that's what this channel is about. It's about sharing the knowledge that I learned, documenting my journey as I retrofitted this boat. I'm looking forward to next year. Next year I'm going to be taking the boat out to the coast, into the ocean, and I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully you can follow along and join me. And then secondarily, I'm not quite confident that this system will be strong enough out in the ocean. I highly doubt it. But this will be like a backup system. So there's some components to the Raymarine system that are interchangeable between the two units. There's a brain, and the brain is the same whether you buy the EV100 or the EV200. So basically the two types are EV100 is a wheel pilot, and an EV200 is a linear drive that attaches to the quadrant. It's got quite a bit more horsepower, in terms of strength to turn the steering, but it consumes more energy. So Rick called me, he had this available, and I'm like, you know what, I've been humming and hawing about which one to get, so I'm going with this one for now. And then what I think I'll do is I'll keep it, and I'll add the components of the linear drive on the quadrant for the EV200, and then the larger power supply. I think they call that the ACU 200. Correct me if I'm wrong there, guys. But anyways, I just wanted to kind of go through an unboxing. I have opened this up already, but I just wanted to kind of do it again, and for the benefit of all the viewers. So this is kind of what the kit comes with. So I'm going to put this down on the ground here, because it's kind of a big box. So this is the EV Sensor Core. This is kind of like the brains of it. I've got some power cords or cabling to hook it up. There's an ACU 100, so I was right on the acronym. So it's ACU 200, which is just a slightly larger unit. This is basically the power supply for it. There's a P70S that comes in the box. In the kit, this is the controller unit. So this is where you would adjust your course degrees to starboard or to port, or hold your course, or whatever it is that you want to do, engage, disengage, that kind of thing. So this would need to go up somewhere where I would be navigating most of the time. So if I'm kind of adjusting course, I'm at the steering wheel, so I feel that this should be at the helm station. So I need to buy a pod, and a pod station is going to go to the top of the helm, and this is going to go in it. And then I'm going to make sure the pod station is just a little bit big enough that I can put a control switch in it. I want the anchor up down for the windlass at the helm, so I don't have that yet. Working on it. But that's the kind of the control brains. And then the last kind of box is the wheel pilot. It's a pretty big box. But essentially, it's got a motor drive, and I don't remember the exact power consumption of the drive unit, but I did do the math on it, and based on an average consumption of like 1 to 2 amps, I think is what it was, I could pretty much run for 2 full days on autopilot with just the batteries and no charging. So it's fairly light unit. This attaches to the helm, the pedestal, and then it's a fixed unit. And then there's a wheel component that attaches to the helm wheel, the wheel, and then it basically just drives it here by turning this unit. And there's a quick clutching disengage and engage. So what's nice about this is that you don't have to fuss around with anything. If you're off course and you need to do a quick, hey, I need to take the helm, you just knock this out, and then it releases this is basically the clutch. On the linear pilot, they have clutches, but they're electronic. So it's kind of like a big piston that connects to the ACU, to the quadrant on the steering. So this one kind of utilizes the steering wheel and all of the chain ligaments. So it's pretty simple install, I hope. Yeah, so that's basically it. This is the motor itself. You can see it's not the biggest. And just got a standard connector, 2-wire connector. It just takes its directions from the ACU. So I'm going to go through the boxes just to show what we get here in the box. But I don't know. I'm not paid for or sponsored by anybody. This is I could use some help, actually. I'm going to be leaving soon, and I have a Patreon page for people who have been very generous. My camera died, and this is one of the first videos on my new camera, thankful to my Patreons. So thank you so much, guys. My camera died, and I couldn't do any videos. So now I can with the help here. So that's the wheel pilot. I'm going to go through the control unit here. So regardless of whether you have the 200 or the 100, the EV100 or the EV200, the sail drive, they both need this control unit. So this is basically just a little sensor or a little instrument It's got the exact same cover as my other ones, which is nice. And yeah, simple little buttons, display. And from what I understand, that this is actually a MFD, yeah, multi-function display. So it could actually display other things on here, like the speed, or if I find there's some things that I want to do. I don't know how it works, but that's my understanding. So it comes with a cover. It's got the black edging. If everything's in your boat is gray, you've got the gray edging. And that's about it. Pretty simple. It's got a couple of power cords, connector cords, and yeah, that's about it. So it's a relatively straightforward box of goodies here. Packaging is good. Everything's kind of well protected in the packaging. So that's one thing I've kind of noted about Raymarine. They have some decent packaging. Like, everything seems to be well put together. And it looks like I've got all the parts here. So thank you, Rick. So this P70S unit, again, is going to go at the helm. This is how you control your direction, so it can kind of tell you what's happening here on the display. And let me see if there's got anything into here. AutoTac, CTOC, NEMA 2000, CTOC compatible. Super bright, all-weather, optically bonded display. So yeah, designed specifically for these autopilots from Raymarine. That's what it says. Power supply I'll do next. So this is the EV100. Again, pretty tight packaging. It's got a kind of like a foam protection all the way around. Let's see if we can get it out here. So this is the actual unit itself. So you can see it's not that big. I don't know what the exact dimensions, but I would say 5 inches by 7 inches maybe. And underneath here is another connector cord for power. So it looks like I can bring this into a separate power. I need to do some reading on this, but these cables are the Raymarine specific cables. They're very similar to NEMA 2000, and you can get interchangeable ones, but they call this the CTOC. And this cable here has actual, I don't know if you can see that in there, but it has one end is to go into the unit, and the other end is actually to go onto a 12-volt source power. So I'm going to be looking at whether or not I can utilize the existing power that I have on there to see if it's enough. Otherwise, I'll run a separate circuit just for this. I may end up doing that anyways. But I think that if I connect it onto the backbone, that this unit here will pick up power from the backbone. Anyways, so I'm just going to need to do some reading on that because I don't know. If anybody else out there has this unit that could provide some guidance on that, I'd appreciate it. But from an unboxing perspective, yeah. This is also, I can't remember what IP rating but it has, but it's relatively waterproof or water resistant. I mean, you can't submerge it, but you know, if it gets water on it from the boat somehow, it's going to be fine. It's, like I said, well made, good packaging, and the kit's not really utilizing or wasting a lot of space here. Everything's going to fit and tight. And then, all right, so the last part is the brains of the operation, the EV Sensor Core. This unit is interesting. I had a call today with a gentleman from the supply store that I go to, who knows this stuff fairly well. And there's a difference between the EV1 and the EV2. So maybe I need to change the brain for the bigger unit. I don't know. I didn't ask him that. But there is a 9-axis gyro in here as the brains to tell what's happening with the boat. So this unit is actually, you want to install it somewhere not close to anything magnetic. and that's about all it is. It's pretty small, and it's got a mounting bracket, so it's not really a big thing. And this just needs to find a spot somewhere in the boat. You want it head facing the direction that you're traveling, and you don't want it within 3 meters of or 1 meter of the compass or anything kind of electrical. So I'm not sure 100% where I'm going to put it, but I think I'm going to put it in the front underneath in the system because it does not have GPS. I was talking with the boat store today, which sells these pieces here commercially, and he knows their stuff inside out pretty well. And he was saying that there's another unit called the AR200, which has GPS in it. This does not replace that, even though it does also have a 9-axis reader. So as the boat heels and hits waves and is turning or turns directions, those forces get picked up by this unit, and it translates that information into the autopilot to make a decision about what to do. So that's what this unit does. So where I'm a little bit lost is I know there's an EV2 sensor, and I don't know the differences between the two. So I'm going to look that up, and then maybe what I'll do is I'll put a link to the web page to talk about the differences of the EV1 and the EV2. But this is a very similar unit as the EV200 sail pilot that uses the linear drive. So I'm hoping that I can use this component the same for either one. But my intention would be to put the linear drive unit in as well. So when you're in the larger oceans and you've got some pretty big, especially following seas, and you're going up and down in speed and racing and turning off course, the wheel pilot might not have enough oomph and speed of action to be able to move the rudder that quickly, and the boat might be doing a lot of this, whereas the larger unit has more power and it directly attaches to the quadrant, so it just pushes and pulls the quadrant. It uses a lot more energy though, so I would not be able to stay on autopilot for 2 days like I could with this one. However, I'm looking at trying to figure out how can I integrate these together somehow so I could have a backup. If that's just not possible, well, that's okay. I'll still maintain the other parts. I'll keep this as a backup in case everything else dies on the other one. But I also want to look at a mechanical wind vane, like a hydro vane. That's pretty much the one I think I would settle in. I've done a fair amount of research on them all, and I'd like to support a Canadian company. They're made out of or designed out of BC. I don't know exactly where they're made, but they've been working on those, and they sail the ocean. They're great wind vane pilots, and it has its own rudder, and that's the key thing for me, is that I want an ancillary or backup rudder to the steering here on the boat. So this one connects to the existing steering. So if I lose my hydro vane, I have this one. Or if I lose this one, I could use the hydro vane, which is the mechanical one. And it basically works on the wind principle. So as the boat turns, something flops down, it turns the rudder and it peels the boat back. Flops down the other way, turns the rudder and it peels the boat back until it's back in alignment. So it's a pretty simple concept, but it needs a little bit of power and the gearing ratio in it and whatnot to be able to turn the rudder as the boat's moving. There's a fair amount of energy required for that, so it's interesting how that works. So this wind energy of it flopping actually turns some gears, which turns the rudder, which is neat. This concept is totally different. So this one here, as the compass changes, it will redirect or recourse based upon the compass. A couple other things that are interesting is that when you hold the wind, it actually will read the wind instruments, and as the wind changes, it will know that it's going off course and it'll pull it back into the wind. So if you do sail trim and you get everything nice and tight the way you like it, helm is very balanced, it's pretty minimal energy required to still keep the boat the same, and as it's going off, it just brings it back. So I'll be hearing the motor a little bit. I know it's sort of quiet, but I'll be hearing the in the back here as it's going. But in terms of sanity of being able to go out and come down, do a quick thing, walk to the front of the boat to adjust something and keep the boat on course, it's going to be huge for me. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this in action. One other last thing that this unit will do is you can actually specify a course or path. So you go to your chart plotter and you set your waypoints in it, and you can say go. And I'm not too sure, I'll need some time under my belt before trying this, but for example, in the Erie Canal, you could actually go and post all of your plots along the way and then translate that to the chart plotter. And then the autopilot should be actually follow from waypoint to waypoint, and you can track that. So if you're running on the motor, you can just keep turning and adjusting the boat, which is kind of cool. So I'm looking forward to it. That's the unboxing. My installation of it is going to be happening over the next 6 weeks as the weather gets a little bit better. Today is the 3rd straight day of plus that we've had. It's March. I can't believe how terrible the winter was this year. But I didn't get much of a chance to do a lot of the work on the boat because it was just too damn cold. And I spent more time fussing with the cover, making sure that it wasn't ripping. But yeah, so now I'm getting these last few pieces done. I'm getting the quarter berth done. I'm trying to finish the head and the closet and the 3 doors. A little bit of cosmetic things, but aren't that important. I can fix that later. And I'm rebuilding the battery backup, or the battery containment system. My batteries that I got this year are a little bit larger than the ones I had before, so I just want to make the batteries all linear. So I've got a few things to do in the next 6 weeks. Another couple things I gotta do is I'm changing these windows. I've got one, when I put the windows in 2 years ago, the person or the company that I bought them from sold me non-UV windows. I didn't know that. I asked them for the right windows. I told them it was for the boat, but I got the wrong windows. And the UVs actually made them so touchy they cracked, but when I'm trying to peel them off, they actually just crumble, the plexiglass. So I've got some new ones. I've got to install those. And then next week I'm actually picking up my new rigging, which I'm excited about. So I just wanted to make sure that I had no chance of failure. I didn't know how old the rigging was. It looked okay. So I'm going to keep the original rigging as backup, and I'll store them somewhere here on the boat. And then if I ever need them, if something breaks while I'm underway, I'll have a spare. So that's kind of the main reason for that. So I'm going to be doing that. And then, yeah, you know what? Actually, I picked up a radar. So I'm going to go through another unboxing video next week, and I'll be talking about the Raymarine radar. And I got the one with the Doppler in it, which is kind of cool. So I'm excited to see that going as well. So a lot of electronic changes this winter. These were kind of like the big things that I needed to get done before cruising. So I've got a couple things that I'm going to be picking up closer to launch in April, which is AIS, anchor chain. I'm installing the radar and the autopilot. Those were the last kind of big things. The rest is cosmetic and making things comfortable. So yeah. So anyways, thank you for watching, and I appreciate the following and the support. I appreciate all the questions. It makes me think about what I'm doing. Am I doing this right? Am I thinking about it right? There's a lot of experienced people out there who know a lot. And for myself, this channel, I just wanted to share what I was learning and impart some of that knowledge to you guys, because it's hard to find real world practical knowledge on things, especially with the electric motor. I've taken the time to document energy release, capacity, how much thrust, and I put things into graphs and charts to try to explain that. You can find all that information on my Patreon site or the website. But I just want to say thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate that, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you. For those who've been following the channel for a while, I've been saving up for a couple of products, an Autopilot,